and welcome to Living in Spiritual Awareness. I'm your host, Lisa Mastrocola. I am an angel intuitive, healer, teacher, and author. This is our first show. I'm very happy to have you here. My journey started about 10 years ago. I wasn't sure. I had a full life like probably many of you, but I felt like something was missing. And about 10 years ago, a very dear friend introduced me to the angels. And since then, I took many, many courses. I've learned many healing modalities. And I have found many, many people over the years, especially the last several years, that many people are living in, like maybe a little bit of confusion. They feel the same way, like I should be doing something, but I don't know what to do. But over the last 10 years, I have met so many amazing people that are doing so many miraculous things, helping so many people in so many profound ways. And so the angels have recently said to me, you know what, you need to do this show and you need to bring these people to some viewers, because it's like they're ready, they're open and looking for some alternatives. And so that's where this show is. And I'm hoping that over many, many episodes, you'll enjoy all the guests that I bring to you. Tonight, I am so honored to have our first guest. Her name is Karen Roberts. And she is an amazing healer, and among other things, she's a wonderful, wonderful person. You're going to learn so many great things. So, hello, Karen. Nice to have you.
Thanks, Lisa. It's so much fun to be here. And I am so excited to be on your first show, and I am very honored that you picked me. So, you and I have a lot in common. We both work with angels, and we know the blessings that angels can bring to everyone.
Right, and we talk often about, how there are many people out there that feel the same way we do, like there's something that they should be, they feel like they should be doing. There's a lot of confusion, anxiety, and Karen hosts an angel show on Sunday mornings. She's a local radio show host on North Shore 104.9. And why don't you tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, my show is called New Beginnings Through Healing, as is my company name. And we're on every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. on North Shore 104.9 FM, just before Food Talk. And it's been a wonderful journey. I've been doing that for 3 years. And I was guided to do it because there are so many people that can benefit from just hearing about angels. And the way it works is that when we extend love and light, whether it's through TV or through radio or just through our thoughts, we are helping people. So, and the most we can do is to keep our thoughts positive. That's what I've learned along the way. It's been a long journey for me. I didn't always feel this way. I was a skeptic. If it wasn't real and tangible, then how could it be effective or do anything? But I've had some amazing miracles occur in my life and the people around me through faith and through the love of the non-denominational angels, who are here for everyone, by the way. And we are not the only people who can talk to angels. Anybody can talk to them. We are all born with guardian angels who come with us on our life's journey, and they can't leave us until we pass. And the miraculous archangels, of course, who all have a life purpose, just like we all have a life purpose. They have a certain expertise, and they really have become my best friends. I listen to them. I let them guide me. And they do through synchronistic events and repetitive signs, either songs on the radio or numbers on license plates or birds singing or flying across your windshield, like what happened to me on the way here tonight, which really was amazing. I was stopped in the traffic just getting off the highway, and this cardinal just flew right across in front of my windshield and then just landed on a branch on the side of the road and perched there and looked at me. And I thought, this is really a good sign. So I knew the show was going to be wonderful.
And cardinals, are they supposedly a sign that a loved one in heaven is kind of trying to get your attention or to let you know that they're around?
That they do use, spirit does use birds as messengers, and sometimes it can mean that it's your loved ones, but it's a sign from heaven that all is well and that you are never ever alone no matter what, and you're being supported and loved every inch of the way. So
I think that's an important thing because, as I said, when my journey started about 10 years ago, I think the saddest part is I felt alone. Like I felt as though I was in charge of my life and where was I supposed to go. And when I was introduced to the angels, I realized, oh my goodness, there's like all these heavenly beings that were there. Like there was all this divine, that they were sent, to help each one of us. And I'll tell you, I call on them constantly all day long. And my life really has never been the same since. And so being the teacher that I am in all phases of life, I love to teach, just like when I listen to your show. And I'm like, you have to listen to what Karen said this week. And so there's always,
Thank you for
there's that
that.
inherent teaching of whatever I learn. It's like, how can I bring this to someone else?
Yeah.
So that's my big thing is teaching everybody about the angels. I just love them.
Yeah, I love them too, and they did change my life. But I realized that for a lot of people, it can be difficult. I have a lot of clients that come in and say, I was raised with organized religion. We don't believe in angels. Angels are not real, that type of thing. But what happens is that the guidance is so flawless, and people do come back to me a couple years later, and they'll say, what you said was correct. And it makes me feel so good, not because I'm right, but because they're always right. And I have learned to trust them implicitly. I defer to them. I allow them to come into my guidance. And what's important to remember right now is that there's a lot of shifting energy. And the planet is moving. You hear the word fifth dimension. It's tossed around quite a bit. And all that means is really that we are here to open our hearts to love and compassion. That's what the fifth dimension is. And so the energies are now moving to shift the earth to a higher vibration. And in order to do that, it's really important because the essence of human beings is to create with our minds. Our minds create our reality. And when we allow negativity to take over, it's like when you send out a prayer and then you allow the negativity to come in, it's like a boomerang effect, and it blocks things for us. So this is an abundant universe, and that's what the messages from heaven right now. There's more than enough abundance for everyone. When you concentrate on lack, then that's what you're going to bring into you or into your life. When you concentrate on woe is me, or that you are not good enough or not strong enough or not pretty enough or whatever it is, we're being pushed really strongly right now to let that go, because fear and doubt will take its effect on you in one way or another. And the angels are difficult to hear if we are immersed in despair and fear and doubt. And so it's essential that we pull up our energy right now. And whether you can do that through exercise or just going for a walk, in nature or somewhere or by the ocean that's going to uplift you. Just understanding that this universe that is governed by the Archangel Michael, this is his universe. It vibrates on a harmonic frequency of joy. And what that means is that we we vibrate just like an instrument, a musical instrument, different chords, different scales, different tones. That's how the universe runs. It runs on a vibration of sound and light. And when we're out of harmony with that vibration, that's when we tend to sink to despair and sorrow.
Right.
It,
I feel like a lot of the anxiety that's on the planet today is because we in society, we're being bombarded with all the negativity. You're not good enough. They airbrush pictures, you know, you have to look like this, you have to talk like this. And I think inherently on some level, whether you're aware that you're being divinely guided or not, like your intuition, your gut is almost like telling you, your soul is telling you something isn't quite right about that. You know, so I think there's like that fight inside, and people don't really know. So that's why a show like this, the angels are saying now is the time, because with that, you know, you're feeling a little annoyed, you're feeling a little anxious, because on some level, you know, what you're being fed, you know, by the masses is
not right. Yeah, we're being fed fear and on many levels, and so we call that the third dimension. So we're trying to get the word out to people to start to shut your TV off, you know, don't buy into what you see, and instead start to get very comfortable with the silence, you know, that because we all have this incredible resource inside of us that we can manifest goodness and love and anything that we want. And, you know, that source is God because we are God. Our hearts are God. And when you start to turn off the external noise and instead tune into the silence of your soul and start to listen and not pay attention to things that don't really matter or don't affect your life in any way. Because what they are is they're distractions. And everybody has a life purpose. Anything that happens in this lifetime is meant to happen. The angels have told me that everyone's life is planned out to the minutest detail. So who you incarnate with, who you come to earth, you pick your parents, you pick your spouses, you know, you pick your situations, and two things can be responsible for that. Number one is karma, that you have some unresolved issue with these people. Number two is that you have signed up for this, believe it or not. And sometimes we don't realize when we're in heaven before we come here the toughness of the job that we have signed up for.
And everything that you go through is never in vain. Everything you go through, as you said, has been planned out to the nth degree, and it's all, at the end, it's all for your soul to learn something, it's a lesson.
Exactly. And the thing is, and I've learned this the hard way many times myself, when we don't learn the lesson, it's repeated to us over and over again in the form of the same people or the same job or the same situation. They may look different, they may sound different, but the essential lesson is the same. And once you realize the lesson, it never comes to pass again. You move beyond it. And that's when we go back to vibration, because you are raising your vibration. So the more loving thoughts that we all have, the higher our vibrations become. So try it if you're in a state of desperation or despair, and sit down and say a prayer, and try not to worry, because worry blocks everything. Prayer helps everything. And if you can just do that little thing and start to say, okay, you know, I'm going to start to turn this around. And, you know, even if it means rejoicing in the sunshine outside, you know, you look how we've lived through days of rain here and gloom. And now that the sun's been out the last couple of days, everyone's so much happier. So, you know, you say thanks for that, because gratitude is a way of bringing more abundance to us.
And your words are so powerful. So really and truly, watch how you're saying things. I have people that will come to me, clients, and they'll say, why do I meet the same type of person? You know, like say they're looking for a new relationship, and they'll say, and you don't put it this way. Why do I meet the same type of person? This person does this, this, and this, and I know this is what I'm going to, and I just say, stop right there. You're going to get more of what you're putting out there. So it's nice to maybe kind of go inside, and this is probably what we have to do, is spend more time inside, because all the answers are within us. We're conditioned to look outside of ourselves, but inside there's a feeling. Everybody has that feeling, so go within, and you know what, maybe sit with yourself and say, what are the qualities that are important to me? Make a list, put it out there, and say to the universe, say to God, this is really what I'm looking for, this or better, because in the end, God knows what's in the angels. They know what's best for us. They see our whole picture. And so if you put it forth this way, this is what I'm looking for, then that's what you'll get. Don't dwell on, it's very important not to dwell on what you don't want. I always get blah, blah, blah,
you
don't
want to do that.
This is what I do want. Very important.
Yeah. And the thing is, there are people out there to help. And I know that energy healing saved my life. That's why I do it. And the more love and light I can bring to people, the better I feel. Every healing heals me, and the same is with you. I mean, we bring a brand of healing to ourselves so that we can help other people. And nothing gives me greater pleasure than to see people feel better. And, there is help available. So, don't suffer in silence, and don't think that you're alone. There is so much out there that can actually help you change your life.
And a lot of times, if someone has an illness or a sickness, that didn't just, is a manifestation, isn't it?
It is. There's several. I get asked about that a lot. And so there's a few things I've learned along the way. Number one is, sometimes, again, in heaven, our soul will say, okay, we need to learn this. And so, this illness is going to teach me something. That can be one thing. Yeah. But I can tell you that I subscribe to the fact that, and I know there's been so much research done about it. I love this scientist named Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's done so much work on DNA and stem cell research, and he has conducted experiments, he and other scientists, that our thoughts and emotions are what can make us ill. Even down to thinking, okay, my mother had this, my father had that, I'm going to get that. When you say that, your cells each cell is a whole world unto itself, and it sends a signal to the body that you're not well. So it's super important to understand that, the healthier your mind, the healthier your body. Of course, you can't have healthy thoughts unless you are taking good care of yourself.
Right.
That's a lot of it too. So it's important right now, especially in this energy, to drink a lot of water, because water flushes out the toxins. Bless the water before you drink it. Eat organic food. It's the safest, it's the best, it's the most nutritious. And get some exercise. And if you don't belong to a gym, or you can't belong to a gym or a yoga studio, then there's all these videos online for free on YouTube that you can do it, or you can just take a walk or a run or a ride. So ride on your bicycle, not your car. But we create our own reality. So if you want more health, you have to have healthy thoughts.
Right. And sometimes I feel as though energy healing is very important, because sometimes even stress, trauma that you've ever suffered, even surgeries, so many things that your body goes through creates blockages, along with all the negative thoughts. So all those other things create blockages. So coming for a healing I mean, we've both have seen many miraculous, things. But then the caveat is you have to be open. You have to be open to
Right.
receive, a healing.
I tell people when they ask me about what I do, I say, they'll say, well, how effective is it? Or, is it all about angels? And I say, I just ask people to come with an open heart. And I also ask for the highest and best for each client. And that's always what happens. So you can't quantify energy
Right.
healing because energy travels. It can't be created or destroyed, but it travels. And so when you set the best intentions, the angels just come in and start to talk, and because they want you to feel better, they want the highest and best. So when we let go and allow them to come through us, and people can feel it, it's
Right.
they feel that energy, or they can feel the energy of a loved one who has passed and is trying to get
Yes.
a message to them.
Right.
So there are the angels, and then our loved ones who have passed. It's just like being in another room. I heard it described like that once, and it's true. And they're there for you. So many relatives are coming in now in my sessions with instructions for forgiveness. Not only do they want to ask for forgiveness, but they want people's families to be healed. So, if there was a split over money between, brothers and sisters or nieces and nephews or that type of thing, they want people to let bygones be bygones and just, send more love and light. And they're now, people who have evolved to a state where they can get a message, because spirits, as we both know, perceive energy, and they want to get a message to us. So they have signed on, so to speak, with the angelic hierarchy to help people on the earth, because it's essential now that people start to move and open their hearts to harmony and love. The days of anger and unforgiveness and a lack of tolerance and understanding, that's over. That's
Right.
passé. That's old stuff.
Right.
Now it's like, open your heart. We're all human beings. We all have these roles to play on this planet, and every person that comes into your path is a teacher. I have found out that the people who have, who I always thought treated me the worst or were the most difficult, they were my greatest teachers.
Right.
And once I realized that, poof, they were gone. So,
It's true.
as hard as it can be to recognize love through that, I have been training myself for years to not bury things about people that have maybe harmed me in some way. And the bottom line is that we ourselves have to do the work. You could come for a healing. You can, get all this advice, but really, truly, we are the ones that have to dive deep in our hearts and say, okay, this happened, but I'm not willing to hold this in my system anymore. I don't want to bury this anger. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be, upset all the time or tense. It's not worth it. You're just hurting yourself. And I can speak to that personally because I did it. And that's why, I know when people come in, I see it. It's just, it's almost like it's a poster board in front of me. Okay, I see forgiveness above your head, or I see anger above your head, and then people wonder why their backs hurt or their shoulders hurt.
Right.
And, it's incredible. And even down to, we make things happen. I know that flies, for example, flies are brought in by anger. So if there are flies buzzing
Wow,
around
I
your
did not realize
head and
that.
your house, It's because there's so much anger in there.
Wow.
Mosquitoes are manifested through irritation.
Wow.
So if you're constantly irritated, you're gonna manifest mosquitoes, and you're gonna get stung. So the more love you, because every living thing has a loving vibration. When I go outside in my yard in the morning, especially now when it's sunny, and even when it isn't, I greet all the plants and the rocks and the birds that have nested in my trees, who don't even bother moving when I come out anymore,
Right.
because they feel the vibration of love. They're like, I'm not in fear of this person because this person feels my vibration.
Right.
I can hear my plants in my house when I haven't watered them for a week.
Wow.
And they talk to me and they'll say, hey, it's time for water.
Yes. Karen, this has been such an amazing half-hour show. I am
thank
so
you.
blessed and so honored that you have come, and I know that our viewers have gotten a lot of great information. And
Thank you.
Where can they contact you if they would like to come and meet with you and maybe perhaps get a healing?
I am at the beautiful Yoga Center of Newburyport, and that's on 12 Maple Street in downtown Newburyport. And my website, www.newbeginningsthroughhealing.com, or you can leave a message on my business line at 978-808-6095.
Thank you so much. And I hope you thoroughly enjoyed our first episode of Living in Spiritual Awareness. And I just know this has set you've set the bar really high. So I know we're going to have amazing people, and please, we look forward to seeing you again. And until then, thank you and good night.